How's it going, everybody? It is Lockhart here, your content creator for Aether Gazer, and it is super crazy because I've done this video like 2 times, and the first time I did it, I spent a solid half an hour basically talking about all the things that I think would make Aether Gazer go from good to great, and realized only at the very end, just as I turned off the recording, that my mic wasn't registering, so everything I said is just gonna be anyway. So let's do it for the 3rd time, and we're going to start off with the most obvious thing that the game really needs as a PC client. I think in this current gacha era, it is for ARPGs, for any RPGs that like utilize a lot of animation in terms of like, you know, for ultimates, for like cinematics, for boss fights, whatever it is. You just need a PC client because it just makes things look better, and it's just like a nice added feature that people can use for 1, content creation, and then 2, for people who want to go from playing like handheld to on the computer, like and me, like from now and then I get to dabble in twice. Now Hoyoverse Games has done this amazingly. Even Final Fantasy Ever Crisis on PC was really good, but like when you think about, or Snowbreak Contamination Snowbreak, I don't know, that game's PC client was absolutely stellar. However, the mobile version was bad, but for the most part the other games were like really good. Solo Leveling PC client, amazing, plays super well, lots of detail, and it runs on your PC, so obviously it can utilize more to be better of a better gaming experience for you, so you can get a little bit more immersed into the world of the game that you're just kind of playing. And then you have Zenless Zone Zero, which is going to look stellar on PC. And then you also have, what's the other one that's coming out? Wuthering Waves, which is going to look Palamecia. It's going to look Palamecia? That other one by Azure Lane is going to look really good on PC too. And so all of these games are going to be like, you know, the question comes into like, well, are these even gacha, or these even mobile games anymore? And I think the answer to that is like, really, they're not, right? But they're still gacha games, and a lot of people will play them for the gacha factors, the things that are like gacha tropes, right? Like the characters, the gacha system, you know, the length of play, the amount of effort put into content, the crossovers, like collabs, and things like that. That's what people want, right? So I think, like, you know, that would be a great thing that we're moving towards to already, but I feel like we've taken a long time making that work, and it shouldn't have. I think for a game like Aether Gazer, for the things that it has, like, it should have came out with the PC client right away, because the modifiers are sick. Their combat, like, all the modifiers have really unique combat styles, right? Everyone's like a little bit different. Jinwoo's different from Bozembo, who's different from Leviathan, who's different from Luliang. Like, I'll even say like Ying Zhao is like one of the funnest characters to use. The way she fights is sick. Like the kicking, punching, using the tonfas, making the tonfas look like basically like jackhammers that like bring on the pain, you know. And it's super sick. You have Scotty, who I feel like was super cool on paper, turning into like from Gundam to motorcycle, and then like motorcycle doing less damage. I feel like that didn't make a lot of sense. They could have worked on that. Or like even like the laser shot, not the laser shot, but the Gatling shot that comes from like fake Snake's thing when you like charge it to the fullest when you're playing, you know. Or turret mode by Hell, or Thor's just a sick concept. All of these would translate amazingly onto PC. So at least we're getting there. If we can get there sooner before maybe the other games come in. Like, I know a lot of a lot of people are very interested in Aether Gazer and are looking to play Aether Gazer, but I know from what I've seen, people are like, well, it doesn't have a PC client. I don't know if I want to play it then, because there is now a market for gacha games on the PC, and that's just it. But they need that little interaction, that little bit of, from time to time, I would like to play on mobile. But there are those people who like just never play on mobile. It's a mobile game in disguise, or a PC game in disguise as a mobile game, and it is what it is. So, great step. The next one that I kind of argued was like a pity system, and this is crazy because I'm gonna throw on like what happened in like the stream, or in the first recording, where I was like talking about like the pity system and how I feel like it needs like a hard pity, because people are gonna feel like super bad going into like pitying for a character, and sometimes they pity once, twice, 3 times, like the hard pity, and it just sucks. It feels bad, and it's just like they only have like a couple good characters because they've invested so much into wanting to pull for the units that they wanted. And I get the character in 2 pulls, which like totally like defeats the purpose of what I'm trying to point out, because I was just mindlessly doing it. I'm talking about pulling for a character, and I was just pulling for a character. I honestly, you couldn't even make it up. I was at 0 pity also, so you know, rewatch that video and that clip, and you can see that I was at 0 pity. So it is what it is. Whatever. My next thing that I think, okay, and this is personal preference. This is just me, okay? So please take it with a grain of salt. I'm not out here trying to make people mad. It's just like a biased opinion of mine on all things. But some of this I've seen other people point out, and I just agree. But with the amount of things that have come out so far, I'm very curious as to why there hasn't been any collaborations at all. Okay, because like we have like a very unique play style here in Aether Gazer. You know, the characters are from very different parts of you can tell that they're from different parts of the Aether Gazer universe, right? The way they're designed, their costume, their clothing, to like their battle gear, it's very obvious that they're all a little different, right? But none of them are like full-on robots or anything. It's not like PGR where they're like cyborg-ish, and the only way they can get stronger is if they have like metal legs and metal arms and an eye patch that reads power levels, you know? Like the eye patch comment, I don't think makes sense. I'm just, you know. Anyway, my point is that like I personally wouldn't mind a collab. You know, getting a limited character that I would definitely want to double S just in case, you know, until they do a rerun. Now, do I need it? No. There are so many sick characters that they have developed, and like the reason I'm so into each of these characters is because they release them with these trailers, and then the CN players get a hold of them, and then you get to see how they play, and the fact that you can get a good gauge of what this character's play style is like is sick. And again, combat in this game is not you're not short on combat. You're not short on combat styles. You'll find somebody that you'll really resonate with. Now, it just would be nice to get a collab unit, because there's so many things out there that I feel like would be super cool to cross over into the Aether Gazer universe, and a part of me enjoys gachas for that, just for that, like having something completely left field, going to like Mega Man and Zero coming into Aether Gazer. I don't know how they would do it, but I think they would do it incredibly well. You know what I mean? You have characters from like any Capcom series that would like really go into this. Like, oh my god, if they did something with solo leveling, I would cry. So they probably won't ever, not with solo leveling, because they just came out with their own gachas. But like, you know, you have Final Fantasy. Nier is like probably a super obvious one. I know games don't often do it with other games. It's usually games doing it with animes most of the time, but again, there's a lot of room for it, and I think it would be great. There's a huge like pool of like possibility out there, and Overlord is like a big one that has been hitting a lot of different gacha games, and I wouldn't mind Overlord in this. I'm trying to think of anything else, but like honestly, I'm kind of dried out, you know. But they don't have to, obviously, because they've kept me interested thus far with all the character building and the characters that they've put into this game. But that's just a me thing, okay? All right, my next thing is probably a little bit more like closer to like building your characters and how like you can get sweaty with the game. And for me, it's just like really hard to understand why they put so many choking points in the game, right? Like the access key, okay, the access key, whatever, not that, but the functor. In Higan Ruthiel does this super well, right? You pull for the character, and you're like, oh, super sick, like this character is super great, and they're okay with like one copy, and then you can like farm the other copies, because most of these characters are like permanent, or you can farm these like blank copies that you can use to upgrade your current character, so that way you can still max them out. It just takes a super long time instead of like pulling for copies, right? You can just use like these generic shards, basically. Anyway, in this game, in here though, we have the characters, which like double S seems to be like a decent benchmark, because then like you can have the module ready but the signature functors cost the same, right? And like the difference, I don't think it's a 2x difference. I don't think you get double the characters in some cases. They're like, you know, you have someone like Hades, who is like, you know, Hades with Hera, super great. You know, they're both Olympus and blah blah blah, this and that, so they do really well together, and that's super great. But when you get her signature functor, she's just super great by herself, and she just does really well by herself. You know, and I feel like that's like probably something closer to like that, like the 2x modifier that I'm like thinking about, is where like, you know, they really become online and you really unlock like a lot of their hidden potential, so that way they can be really great for you, you know. Same, but like the difference for like Jinwoo, is like really great with Lu Liang and Gongchen, and but she can become more of a beast with her signature functor, but I don't think that's a 2x thing, you know. And the reason I say that is because like the amount of shifting stars that it takes to pull for characters should not be 2k. I think it should be half, right? Like, because like pulling for the characters to get a second copy already like is slightly unfavorable. And knowing that you have to spend the amount of currency, hit the same pity in order to get the signature functor, just doesn't feel, and not the same pity, sorry, but you get to 70, you get the pity, whatever. Just doesn't feel the same. I don't feel like the weight of the currency makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, I think it should be half. And so that's where Hiden and Ruthiel does it really well. You know, you spend half the amount to get like the plays for the characters, which is their weapons, and then you spend another, and then the pity is half as well. So I think, like, I mean, that's like a long shot. I don't think they would ever do something like that, but I do think it would incentivize more people to pull for the signature functors, because in their minds they're like, okay, I got the character, it'll only take me half to get the signature functor, so they'll just do it. And there'll probably be more of a likely chance of them being close and then just spending to make it the rest of the way, you know. And that's how you utilize your dolphins and your new players and stuff like that. Sigils are like another thing that like bug me a lot, you know. Like going into like when you're going into your enchantments are brutal. Like I don't think there should ever be a time where like you lock this and this becomes a 5 use and you still have to roll and like the roll is bad. You know what I mean? I think that sucks, and that's just like a like either. I think you should lock it and it should just be 1, because like it's the same RNG. It's not like crazy improved. I don't think the making it 5 times more to get perfect enchantments for top and bottom are worth it in my mind. You know, like I think that just costs too much. It just causes you to farm in other ways. And like I just don't like wasting time farming for things so hard when like the guarantee is just non-existent. You know what I mean? Or make it like, you know, if I like want to lock in this one, then make this like 20, and then I can guarantee whatever I want for the bottom, you know, like guarantee at least the enchantment, not so much like the level of enchantment, but at least the enchantment itself. I don't know, that's just me in my brain. And the other thing is like the forge aspect, where you're like, oh, let me just take my sigil from 40 to 60, and I think this sucks. I think this whole thing is just not so good. Because like in order for you to take it to 40 to 60, you need the Gen Zone reconstruction to do it. And sometimes it's 1 time, sometimes it's 2, and sometimes it's 15. And that's kind of stupid, because then the only way for you to get this thing from 40 to 60 is 1, make sure that it's the Gen Zone you want it to be, which like, you know, you're trying to get it to the character that you want. Then you can do this, because you can't just do this and then do this right after, because like you'll only be able to clarify the reconstruction to whichever Gen Zone it lands on. So like if you do it on Asterism, it'll be only Asterism characters, and if that's on like a non-Asterism character, that doesn't make any sense at all, right? And I feel like that is hella stupid. It's not super crazy for me, and this is also one of the differences that make a character like pretty decent, right? Like the amount of stats that you get added additionally between 40 and 60, I think are a lot, right? Like an extra 1660 and only 500 here, you know what I mean? Like I feel like yeah, it's a good investment. I just feel like it's a crappy way to invest like so much. The other thing too is like, again, here another choking point, you gotta do like these things. Yes, you get it to max. This means that it'll be instant level 6, whatever. You get to pick 2 of these, but again, you have to do that 6 times. And then on top of that, that's 6 times for one character. It just, I feel like it's taking a lot more to level up your characters and make sure that they're current, you know? And that just kind of sucks in my opinion. I don't think that's great or a great thing to do. Like, so like, can we not? You know what I mean? Like, let's just not do that. The affinities, whatever, skills or whatever. Yeah, that's kind of it. That's it on that one. You know, it would be nice to have a husbando that's strong. It'd be nice to give like Oceanus a skin. You know, like some of the husbandos, they're like Anubis totally deserves a skin. He would be hella cool. You know, make him like Santa Claus helper Anubis. But then you have Murdoch, and look at him, man. He just looks like a boss here. He goes from fake snake to snake. You know what I mean? And he's just out there with his railgun, ready to kill like Metal Gears. Mongjong, like, you know, just maybe just make him into Sasuke. That'd be great. Why is it that like chess player Flame Tier, who like I know a whole lot of people don't really use? I know I can. He's just so complicated. But like, bam. Look at him, man. Like, White Knight and everything. His gauntlet's so cool. I'm like, yo, bro, like, come rescue me. Sorry, I mean, you don't have to, but, like, you know, I'm out here. I don't mind. But I think, like, a little bit more wouldn't be so bad. Like, you know, Poseidon having 3 skins. Like, come on. Super unnecessary. Like, why? You know, but everybody else, I think, is, like, totally capable. Like, I don't see why you can't do it. The only other thing I have beyond this is probably just like the multiplayer aspect. It's super cool. It's really fun. I think there should be more of it. Like, come up with like a raid system where it's a little bit more complicated. That would be really nice too, because they do a lot of other content really well. Sometimes they rerun content that you can re-farm, which is again completely busted. I feel like that's just crazy, unreal. But that's really nice. So like, you know, maybe more multiplayers. And then since like we have to farm this crap for like more sigil enchantment thingies, just give us 10. If we roll an S stage, just give us 10. You know, like NUG is at this point going to be one of those things where like people are going to need to spend in order to like roll those things. So that would be really great. Give us like that 10 times. I don't see that being an issue. Perilous Chasm is by far the craziest thing to me. I've seen everybody play this thing. Like, I've seen FBG, Frog, like these people have like gone through this and done like Chasm 6. Like, it's like nothing but like, I'm taking it in from my lens. It's like what? Like doing like that 200 tier monster, like 200 bar health monster, like for this, you know, and make sure that my dudes are good enough to do that. Like, no, I refuse. Replace with PvP instead or something, you know, like where like put this in PvP, you know, but don't put this in a place where you're supposed to, it's like a DPS check for your account where you're supposed to be like, yeah, like, you know, you should be this strong, and do it. It's like, no way, Jose. Like, any of these are fine for collecting things. Dimensional variable which just continues to remain that one thing that is such a chore for me to do. And I apologize so deeply because, like, it's actually not that bad. But I just don't enjoy it. Like, I don't know if there's a way for them to make it faster, make it better, or whatever it is. Or maybe, you know, let me skip everything since I beat it once. But I'm just not super crazy about it. And so for me, like, most of the times it's past. Hazard zone cleaning is super cool. I think at some point in time they should be adding like more tiers, like a third, because like if you do this you have 2. I think it should be 3, maybe bigger team size. Farming stages should be more than just 5 right now, because like you have to do, because like the investment continues to go up, like make stages like 5 and 7 maybe the amount. I think that makes a lot of sense. I don't know, that's just me. And that's it. I think that's it. I think I kind of just summed up everything I did. I didn't want to do the same half-hour length video, but that's it on my end. Let me know what y'all think. You know, like I love this game to bits. I think it's like great. I think it's free to play friendly. I think like the bar to get in is not that hard. And all the characters are super interesting. The story is like pretty decent, and there's just so much more coming, you know. Like, but what do you guys think? would be like a great add-on to this game that you're like, you know, wow, that would like really scratch my itch, or like, wow, that would be super sick to see, you know, because I'm curious. These are just me, and this is like what I take in from seeing other people and the things that they've mentioned, even like on my own videos and what they've mentioned. I think some of these things would be super great, and like it wouldn't be such a bad twist to be like, boom, global exclusive units, you know, or global first units. Like I've seen a lot of games do that, and I know there's a lot of blowback on it when there's like global first and stuff, but I don't think it's a bad way to go, you know. Revenue wise, I think we're doing super great, so I don't think it's not that bad, and you know, that's it. So if you like what we went through, and you have any comments of your own, please let me know. You know, I'm very excited for our first year anniversary. I wonder what they're gonna do. Super excited to use new flame to your brown hair Dante, because he looks so cool in the way that he fights and stuff. So I'm very excited to see where he goes and stuff. So I'm definitely gonna like level him up and make sure that he is gonna be cracked out, and because I like the play style for sure. But yeah, thank you so much, and hopefully you guys had a great day. It's been a great weekend for y'all, and I will look forward to chatting with y'all on the next one. Thanks.